Okay, so I usually don't do videos like this, but I feel like I gotta vent and get this off my chest. So I was part of a chat group that focused on comic books and comic book fandom, and I was connected to a chat room. I wasn't even there for a full 24 hours until I was banned. And how that started out essentially was I was asking questions about Captain Marvel, because it seems like, for whatever reason, Captain Marvel has been the target of hate and supposed SJW motives or agendas. And I was just trying to understand it and figure out what exactly was going on, because as a kid growing up, my impression of Captain, or as she used to be called, Miss Marvel, Carol Danvers, my impression of her is that she was one of the all-time classics, you know? I mean, she literally has Marvel in her name, so I thought she was a big deal. And when she lost her powers to Rogue, when she was a brotherhood of the evil mutants, it was kind of a big deal. And then, you know, everything seemed to change when Miss Marvel became binary, got new powers, thanks to Xavier. So I was just trying to understand what happened to this character, because maybe I was naive, and maybe I just kind of fed into the media circus that has been around Captain Marvel or Carol Danvers, and I was just trying to understand. Correct me if I'm wrong, and this is kind of how I worded it in chat. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it just seems that Carol Danvers isn't who she used to be. You know, she just seems kind of a caricature of who she once was. And, you know, we have the Captain Marvel movie where she had her predecessor. Her predecessor in the comics was, I believe, Marvel, or Captain Marvel, a man who was basically a cosmic superhero. At least that's from my understanding. If I'm correct, if I'm incorrect, please correct me. And it's like you had this cosmic hero who apparently was a legend in the Marvel comic book universe. At least that's my impression. And in the movie, Marvel was reduced to being a old lady that was a pilot and scientist, which is an interesting resume for anybody, not just a woman, just anybody. But it's just I just found it weird and kind of questionable how Marvel went from being this, you know, sort of intergalactic hero and was reduced to being an old female scientist pilot. And I just thought it was a strange change. And it just seemed that there's just a lot about Captain Marvel or Miss Marvel that I didn't understand that was changed. And I was in that group just trying to understand who and what happened to this character. And from the very moment that I said that the character was reduced to being an old lady or old female pilot / scientist, everyone stuck onto that word, reduced, reduced, reduced. And it was typed up by other people. And I think maybe at one point someone had asked me to stop, but then another person said, no, let him speak his mind. And all I was trying to do was get educated, because my understanding was that when you go into these fandoms, and if you're still not familiar with comic books or certain parts of the comic book world, you ask questions because other people may know. And I was just concerned that maybe I used the incorrect wording. But then, now that I think about it, I'm wondering, what if it's not so much how I worded it, but the fact that I might have been speaking the truth? You know, that's kind of weird, because if I'm pointing out all these things that have been popping up in comic book news and, you know, just entertainment news, why? I mean, does anybody see where I'm going with this? Am I crazy? Maybe I shouldn't have used the word reduce. Maybe I should have just used the words, how is that we had this intergalactic hero who had cosmic powers or superpowers of some sort, and then all of a sudden they're this old scientist / pilot. You know, they're not even who their character was anymore. And I asked to be corrected if I was wrong. And instead of being corrected, I got booted. And I've tried to address or ask mods, hey, I'm kind of confused. How am I being charged, not even charged, accused of sexism? And that was the reason for my ban from the group, when I was just asking, simple questions. But no one answered, and when I talked to somebody about it, they told me that I would have to directly message other mods until someone answered. But when I checked my messages, they were actually being rerouted back to me. They weren't even being looked at, as far as I know anyway, or they would just be automatically rerouted. And of course, I can't put a post up there asking about it because I wasn't able to post. So I left the group. But I don't know. I guess I just want other people's opinions about it. And please, when you leave your comments in the section, don't curse. Don't, be hostile. Because I legit want an understanding, because I'm lost. I feel like there was something that I said, and maybe because I'm just oblivious, that I didn't realize what I was saying. So, and here we are. So, yeah.